My name is Hannah. I am 32 years old, and I live in Denver, Colorado. This is not just a story. This is not just words on paper. This is my truth. This is my pain. I am sharing it with you straight from my heart. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment when I thought I would not survive, I am telling it all. Because maybe somewhere out there, someone needs to hear this. Maybe you feel broken. Maybe you feel invisible. NGLH story. Maybe you are blamed for something you never did. If so, I want you to know, I survived. And if I survived, maybe you can too. Gliss, have you ever trusted someone so deeply that they became your whole world? Someone you believed would never leave you no matter what. That is what I thought about Daniel, my husband. But one day, he looked into my eyes with such coldness that my heart nearly stopped. I was pregnant at that time. And he said words I will never forget. I don't think this baby is mine. In that single moment, everything inside me shattered. I was frozen, scared, and broken. The man who H story today promised to be my strength had turned into a stranger. But that was not the end of the pain. Daniel said something even more cruel. He accused me of carrying another man's child, his best friend Michael's. Those words were like knives cutting into my soul. Michael had always been kind to me. He was like family. He often visited our home, laughed today with us, ate dinner with us. During my pregnancy, when I was weak and tired, Michael helped with simple things, bringing me soup, every day, buying groceries, or just sitting beside me when I felt low. He never crossed a line. He was just a good friend. But one day, Daniel saw a message from Michael on my phone. In that single moment, everything inside me shattered. I was frozen, scared, and broken. The man who H story today promised to be my strength had turned into a stranger. They saw only fear and jealousy. He did not ask me calmly. He did not give me a chance to explain. His mind made up a story that was never true. And from that moment, our marriage began to break. I thought my family would stand by me. I thought they would listen, comfort me, and give me strength. But when I told them, my stepmother shouted, "You made your bed, now lie in it." And my father? He said nothing. His silence cut deeper than any words. It felt like the people I trusted most had abandoned me. I was invisible in their eyes. Sometimes the deepest pain does not come from strangers. It comes from the people who should have loved you the most. In one single week, my life collapsed. I lost my husband. I lost my home. I lost my family's support. At night, I cried alone on the floor. Fear pressed on my chest like a heavy stone. The worst pain was not Daniel leaving me. The real pain was that no one stood beside me. Later, I learned something. Daniel's anger was never about me. It was about himself, his angry fears, his doubts, his own insecurities. He fought a storm inside his heart, and instead of facing it, he blamed me. The truth hurt, but it also gave me relief. I realized I was not the problem. I was not the reason. With no job, no money, and no HSTO home, I thought of giving up. But then one night, I posted a smiling photo online with the words, "Feeling blessed." No one saw the hunger, the loneliness, or the pain behind that smile. But I knew I could not quit. I made a quiet promise to myself. I will fight for my baby. I will fight for me. One evening, there was a knock at my door. It was my neighbor, Grace. She looked at me softly and said, "I hear your pain. You are not alone." I broke down in tears. She did not ask questions. She just stayed with me. The next day, she invited me to bake cookies with her. That small act of kindness became my light in the dark. I started baking in my tiny kitchen cookies, cupcakes, and bread, first for myself, then for neighbors, then for people in the community. Slowly, the nickname began, the Cupcake Girl. Each smile from a customer healed a little piece of my English broken heart. Grace became like a sister. With her support, I turned my pain into a small business. One evening, my phone rang. The screen showed Daniel's name. My hands trembled as I answered. His voice was low and heavy with guilt. "Hannah, I made a mistake. The baby is mine." I stayed silent for a few moments. My heart beat fast, but my voice was calm. I said, "You did not just doubt me, Daniel. You left me. You abandoned me when I needed you most. I do not miss the man who left me. I miss the woman I used to be, the one who laughed freely, the one who believed in love. You broke her, and then I hung up." No anger, no tears, just peace. Because Daniel was now only a chapter in my past. Soon after, my baby girl was born. When I held her for the first time, every pain, every fear, every dark night disappeared. She was small, perfect, and her little fingers wrapped around mine. In her eyes, I saw hope. I saw a new life. Her cry was the sound of a fresh start. With her, my world became brighter. I worked hard, I baked, I smiled again. Life was still difficult, but it was filled with real hope. Through all this pain, I learned something important. The hardest battle is not against others, it is against the fears inside us. Sometimes the people you love will not stand beside you, but that does not mean you are weak. Kindness can come from unexpected places. Hope can shine even in the darkest nights, and most of all, you are stronger than the pain you feel. If my story touched your heart, please remember, never stop believing in yourself. Your darkest night can still lead to the brightest morning. Memories that weren't mine came into my mind. A garden, a stone bench, the sound of the sea, the same man laughing, holding my hand, calling my name. I opened my eyes, gasping, my body was shaking. No, this was crazy. I took a deep breath and told myself it wasn't real. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I was imagining things. But deep inside, I knew the truth. Somewhere, somehow, I had known him before. The next morning, I woke up feeling weak. I hadn't slept well. I kept thinking about him, about the photo, about the memories that weren't mine. At work, I was distracted. Customers spoke to me, but I barely heard them. I dropped books, forgot prices, and even burned my tea. At 3 p.m., I stood by the window. It wasn't raining, but I still looked outside. I waited. I didn't know why, but he never came. Days passed. The rain stopped. The sky was clear again, but the emptiness inside me grew stronger. I needed to see him, so, one evening, I made a decision. I took the old photograph and walked through the town, searching. I didn't know where I was going, but my heart pulled me somewhere. After a long walk, I reached the sea. The waves were quiet. And the air was cool. The place felt familiar, but I didn't know why. Then, I saw something. A small, old garden near the cliffs. A stone bench in the middle. I gasped. This was the place from my dream. I stepped forward, my heart pounding. I touched the cold stone bench, and suddenly, I felt dizzy. Then, a whisper in the wind. Emma. I turned. He was there. Standing a few feet away, looking at me with sad, gentle eyes. I swallowed. You're real. He smiled. I told you. Tears filled my eyes. Who are you? He walked closer. You loved me once, he said softly. A long time ago. My chest felt heavy. I don't remember. He reached out, touching my hand again. The moment our skin met, everything came back. A different time, a different life. The same sea, the same stone bench, and the same love. His name was Daniel. We had met in this town, in another lifetime. I was young, full of dreams. He was kind, gentle. And he loved me more than anything. We used to meet here, in this garden by the sea. We sat on this bench. Reading poetry, laughing, talking about the future. He had promised to marry me, but fate was cruel. There was a storm one night, a terrible accident. Daniel never came back, and I spent my days waiting. I never loved again. I grew old alone, holding on to memories, wishing for another chance, wishing to find him again. Tears rolled down my face. It's you, I whispered. He nodded. It's me. I covered my mouth, shaking. I waited for you. I found you, he said softly. I stepped closer, my heart full of emotions I couldn't explain. But how is this possible? A tear fell down my cheek. Are you real? His hand touched my face, warm and gentle, as real as your heart remembers me. I closed my eyes, leaning into his touch. Is this our second chance? Whispered. He didn't answer, but his eyes, full of love and sadness, told me everything. I wanted to hold him forever. I wanted to never let go, but deep inside, I knew. This moment was all we had. The next morning, I woke up in my bed. The air was still. The sun was shining. For a moment, I thought it was all a dream. But then, I saw it. The old photograph, lying on my nightstand. I picked it up with shaking hands. On the back, where the date 1923 was written, there was something new. A single line. I will always find you. Tears filled my eyes, but I smiled. Because I knew one day, in another time, in another life he would. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share.